Alright, what's going on, guys? Michael here from 3D Print Everything, and I just want to do a quick video because I know there's going to be a big storm about this. According to what I just saw and to a phone call that I just got, the guy who went after the CEO of United Healthcare may have used a what is called ghost gun. Ghost gun, for a definition if you haven't heard that before, is just a gun that wasn't created in normal manufacturing routes. It was likely made by an individual in their house without serial, could have been a house, could have been a shop, without serial numbers. And they say it may have used 3D printers, or it may have been a 3D printed bang bang. Now, specifically, I don't like, here's the issues with that, and I did a news interview on this some years back when the first term ghost gun had kind of come out. You cannot, from the print of a button, go find files easily and then print them off your machine and then go pew pew. That's not currently a thing. That's not easy to do. What may have happened, or what we might be talking about here, is that he might have had a CNC, a traditional way of cutting metal parts for a assembly like that, and he may have also used a 3D printer to print some parts, but not all of it, especially not if he fired multiple times. In that last interview I did, I showed just how unreliable the parts are, how long it takes, how much money it takes, and it's a whole lot easier to just get a unregistered or a gun that is just floating around for a couple $100 than it is to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on machines to then make your own. You know, there's all types of arguments that could be had. Could someone have done this? Could they have made their own piece? Yes, if they were that dedicated and they wanted to do this, that is a possibility, but it takes expertise. An average person is not going to be able to pick up a CNC and a 3D printer and on the first go get something that works. It might take a long time. It's definitely going to take time and money, and if time is of the essence and this isn't something that is being planned for years out, then it is going to be something that you can just go down the street, go across state lines, go to a gun show, find someone on Facebook, find a trade. There's a whole lot of ways to get a hold of a pew pew if you really want to. And you know, my biggest fear with all of this is that, you know, in looking for a scapegoat, in looking for someone to point the blame at, what I don't want is the news or politicians to say, hey, this is an issue of 3D printers, and he wouldn't have been able to get access to a gun if he didn't have a 3D printer, and that's just not the case. Without 3D printers in this world, guns are still easily accessible, if not like more so. Just because we have 3D printers and you can print a part for a gun does not mean you're printing gun parts that make them useful. Uppers and lowers, receivers, springs, firing pins, all those things require metal parts. And there are no metal desktop 3D printers that are affordable. Metal 3D printing is more expensive than the standard way of creating parts, which would be CNC. So there's not any worry to be had there that because 3D printers are readily available, pew pews are now more readily available. That's just not a thing. So I just want to say that, guys, don't worry, don't freak out. News, don't freak out. It's just someone who did a bad thing, and he might have had a gun that was custom made, and maybe that had a part that had a 3D printer on it, that had a 3D printed part on it. But I promise you, I would almost take a $10,000 bet. I'm not, but I'm just saying that I highly doubt that the gun was 100% 3D printed. Even 80% 3D printed, I doubt 20% of it was 3D printed. If anything, at best, like a part of the handle, maybe the magazine, like there's very few parts that are useful that could be 3D printed, and even then they're going to be unreliable. I haven't even seen the video. I've only seen one screenshot of it, and from what I heard, he had to reload multiple times, might have had jams, and that can just go to show, you know, if those were 3D printed parts, how inferior it was in the first place. I think the answer more likely might be that he might have put something together and then had that subsonic ammo and a suppressor, and it just wasn't racking the bolt back far enough or something. But again, I haven't seen the video. I haven't necessarily been interested in watching something like that. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to put that out there. I don't think this is a bigger issue than it might try to be made, but don't place the blame or the scapegoat on 3D printers. It's just not the case. And I don't think the industry as a whole, for how big it is now, would put up with any type of legislation to try to slow it down. This industry is now past its infancy, I would say, and there are billions and billions of dollars in 3D printing, and anytime something starts disrupting money, the capitalists and the people who make the money are going to get involved in talking to the politicians and making sure they don't vote on any such legislation that stops profits from flowing. And if you're going to say that all of a sudden, average people like me or average people like you can't have a 3D printer, how are you going to take back all the 3D printers? That makes no sense. So I really don't see any other way forward than just not worrying about it. As far as this being a 3D printer problem, there's a lot more problems here to discuss. There's issues to discuss on what the CEO did and why people would be upset with them. There's issues to discuss on mental health and why someone would want to go so far as to do such a thing, and the availability of current guns. But none of that, all of that needs to be discussed before you ever think about, like, should we limit the access to 3D printers to people? That's just not an issue. Anyways, guys, have a good day, and we will see you soon.